Hello all, how are we? And welcome to our first live show of the Mental Health Warriors. This is all about ending the stigma of mental illness. Please give us a like, share, follow, you name it, if you really want to end this stigma. And today we are going to be talking with, she's named a Storm, and as you've seen the title, we're going to be igniting the storm. So there you go. So I'm just going to invite Storm to the show. If it lets me. Oh, there you go, invite.
Hello,
Good evening.
how are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you.
You're most welcome. You're most welcome. Now, how's your day been so far?
It's been okay. It's been good.
Yes.
How's your
And you
day
know
been?
what? Challenging. It's been challenging.
That's a good word for it. Yeah, my weekend was a little challenging, but it's good.
All right. Okay. Well, you know what? I'm actually going to. There you go. How's that?
Ah, how's this?
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Yes. So obviously we'll get started with our show, where I'm going to be. I don't see it as interviews. I really don't. But people need to give us a like. They really do.
Yeah, yeah. Everybody, if you don't mind, tap that screen so we can get more viewers and be on the FYP for hashtag FYP. Um,
Yes.
Mental health is very important, and we need to let people know that you can be happy and silly. Can we be
I'm open. I'm open to connecting with anyone if they're going to support our mission in ending this stigma. That's what
exactly?
I'm doing. Yes. So so while we're talking, yeah, let's have. You know, I'm going to invite you to some games. How's that? I'm just trying to think how to do this. Um,
Hello,
how do you
Jackie.
send games?
Paul. How do you do
How
what?
is it send games? Because I know you can do games on this, can't you?
Oh, the games. I think you have to do a separate. I think that's a separate one, a separate live. I'm not for sure. I've never done games on here before.
Let me have a look. Let me have a look.
Not like while they're on the
Um,
screen.
I'm just trying to figure out how to do this.
Like I've had to
Uh,
make up my own games.
yes, yes, fair enough. Fair enough. So, people know you as Storm. People know you're in America.
Hmm.
But talk about how, like, who the real Storm is. Let's get you ignited. Let's ignite that Storm within you. Yes, with those
Yeah.
little tiny hands.
Do you want to know what started the tiny hands, or you want to know the person behind the tiny hands?
Yeah, I want to know the person behind the tiny hands. And then
Okay.
we'll get to the tiny hands.
The person behind the tiny hands. Well, I am kind of what you see is what you get. I am a I I I am a very silly person. I have an extremely rambunctious sense of humor, I guess you could say. But in my life, I have been through many things um, that have wanted me to help promote mental health. I have PTSD. I have multiple um, physical ailments too. Uh, so that can get a person down and depressed. I do suffer from depression, anxiety, um, pain, a lot of pain. Have a pain disorder. Um, I have had 2 brain tumors in the past, and
Ooh.
I got to go have another MRI tomorrow, actually. So, yeah, there's a lot going on with me that people don't know about, really. So,
And exactly as Paul says, you're a true warrior.
thank you, Paul. I appreciate that.
Exactly. So these brain scans, what triggered that?
But triggered the brain tumors?
Yeah.
Um, well,
That's if you want to talk about
after
it.
no, that's fine. That's fine. The condition is actually called Cushing's disease, like a cushion, Cushing. And what happens is there's a tumor on your pituitary gland, and this little itty bitty tumor on this little itty bitty organ in your head causes your adrenal gland to secrete too much cortisol, which is a steroid that our body naturally produces.
Okay.
And if anybody knows anything about taking steroids in a long-term production is not good for your body. It basically breaks your body down. It causes you to gain weight. It breaks your bones down. It actually causes problem with blood pressure, blood sugar. It breaks your skin down. It breaks your immune system down. It basically is a silent killer whenever you take it for long periods of time. So,
Wow.
yeah, but my body was putting out an overproduction naturally of this steroid
Yeah.
because of this brain tumor. So, whenever I had my child at 18, and I was fine up until after I had him, and I went on an oral contraceptive. I went on a birth control. And then everything started falling apart. Um, I
Okay.
just things went crazy. I was misdiagnosed for 7 years the first time because doctors didn't know what to do. They didn't know. They thought it was this. They thought it was that. They thought it was this. They thought it was that. And um, when they finally found what it was, because you have to do a certain scan, like a specific scan of the pituitary gland, because that gland is so small. So you talk about mental health during that time. I thought I was going crazy.
We're all
Absolutely
crazy, though, aren't we? We're all crazy.
No, we're all crazy, but I'm serious. The doctors knowing that I had something wrong with me, these things were all happening, and I'm not. But the doctors were saying, "No, you're okay," or this has to be this, and I'm like, "But I'm not feeling this way," you know.
Yeah.
Um,
So they think you was having delusions.
well, not necessarily delusions, but it was like you wanted something done about it. You know what I mean? Like, I have headaches. Okay, you're giving me another pill for this headache, but there's something behind the headache. You know, my blood pressure's going up and I have a headache. I'm swelling and I have this, and then something else would happen. And like, but there's something causing all of this to happen. I'm not just having these issues.
Yeah.
Like, right. Take for instance, and this is what a stigma I want to break too of weight gain with people. Okay. Say, for instance, I'm sure people, when they look at me on first sight, think I sit and I stuff my face with Oreos all day, but I don't. It's
No.
because of this condition. And that's the first doctor that I ever went to on this told me I was fat and lazy and needed to lose weight. And I looked at him and I said, I eat salad all day. I exercise my tail off. I said, you don't know me. And that's what, yeah, they tend to put people, yeah. And so don't judge a book by its cover.
I
And
agree.
that put me into a deep depression by what he said. Even though I was strong and I stood up to him, that still put me in a deep depression because I totally did a whole turnaround from what I was to that other person. And what I was looking in the mirror at was not the same person that I was just even a year, 6 months ago. And, but anyway, let me get back on track by what I was saying. But there are certain conditions that cause weight gain, and people cannot help it, even due to their earnest efforts.
Yeah.
And that gets people down too. There's so much that gets people down, but you can overcome it. You can do things to help yourself out.
Of
As far
course
as
you can.
mentally getting over it.
Yeah. So, what was your response when you were first diagnosed and first said, Storm, well, obviously with your real name, you have such a thing, you have depression, you have anxiety and all that. What was your response then? Because I'm getting this energy that you had sign of relief.
Yeah, well, after the doctor, I'll be frank and honest with you. I was not doing well in my first years because the doctor, like I said, told me I was fat and lazy, need to lose weight. Then there were other circumstances that came along. I had the death of who it was at my time, my mother-in-law, and there were thoughts going through my head with that as my father-in-law got married really quickly afterwards, and I thought to myself, man, who you become a wife, you become a mom, and then it's like all of those memories are gone and you just get married again real quick.
Yeah.
You're erased. So here I am, I'm sick, she's gone, I'm thinking all this about me, and I was ready to take my own life. I'm gonna
Okay.
be honest with you, I was.
Did you have a plan? Did you have a plan at that point?
I did. Yeah, I did.
Okay.
But I did not follow through with it because I did have a son of my own. And I
Well,
did
I'm
not
glad you're
want.
here.
Yeah, I am glad I'm here too. I'm definitely glad I'm here. Yeah. Um, but and I can describe that feeling of depression as like you're being in a deep dark hole and there's dirt. You can look up and you can see everything above you, but you also feel like the dirt is just falling down on top of you.
Mm.
And everything that you do to try and crawl and get out of that hole, more dirt falls down on you. But
Yeah.
what I learned was, in the earth there are these roots that stick out on the sides,
Yeah.
these little roots. I learned that those are our friends and family and help,
Yeah.
and they want to help you climb out of that. We got to take hold of those roots and
Yeah.
pull ourselves up with them.
I
It's just a
agree.
matter of whether we'll help. We've got to take hold of those roots and pull ourselves out too. But
Yeah.
it's hard and sometimes that dirt falling on top of you is doctors and is some family and is some friends and everything else. But there are those roots that stick out that are well grounded that can help you.
I agree.
But whenever I was first diagnosed with the tumor 7 years later, it was it was a feeling of relief because I was like, oh my God, oh crap, a tumor. But holy crap, we can do something about it at least.
Yeah,
You know.
exactly.
Now, when they did diagnose me, I had a year to live,
Wow.
and yeah, and I had a 75% chance of stroking on the operating table because things had gotten so bad. I had to go to a facility that was 12 hours away from me because no one here in my home area could help me. They basically told me there's nothing we can do. So I had to seek help away from here. Um, so yeah, I went 12 hours away from home and they did surgery. I told those doctors, I said, well, you do your job. That's why I'm here. And I'll do my job and everything should come out okay. And I did. Everything came out okay that time. Yeah. So,
I'm so freaking proud of you.
oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yes. Yes. Come on, guys. Let's get these likes and shares up. Come on. We've got igniting the storm here.
And then
Yes.
I had a second one. I had a
Okay.
second one that came back. Yeah. But yeah, I got through that one too.
Yeah.
That one
Exactly,
was not.
because you had that belief within yourself.
Yeah. Now I'm tell you that one was not as easy.
Okay.
Yeah, I chose to stay home for that surgery. That surgery was 2017, this last one.
Wow.
And I'll tell you something interesting. The first surgery is 2003, and they went up through my nose, broke up my sinuses, and got the tumor out that way. The second one, the tumor was a lot more invasive, and they had to open me up from here all the way down here in between my ears, and then open me up like that. Um, so the surgeon that was here at my home was supposed to be very qualified, and I say supposed to be. And he did save my life because without that surgery, I would have died.
Yeah.
But I was having strokes, and I was having many strokes with them. After the surgery, I had brain bleeds, and it was a hot mess, as I like to call it. But up until June of last year, I was walking with a cane.
Okay.
Yeah, I could not walk without a cane. But I I pushed through, and I knew that I could do it, and I went back to the facility that I first went to years ago, which is the Mayo Clinic in Rochester, Minnesota. And I went to what's called a pain rehabilitation clinic.
Right.
Intensive therapies, physical therapy, occupational therapy, behavioral therapy, relaxation therapy, all kinds of mental therapies too. It was amazing. I walked in there on a cane, and I walked out without a cane and being able to dance. That was the best part of my life. It was so amazing.
Yeah. You're such a brave, amazing lady. You really are. And thanks for the roses, Kerry, my beautiful wife.
Oh,
Um,
hi, Karen.
yeah, yeah. So, wow, I've never had this sort of conversation before, and I've been at this over a couple of years.
I'm sorry.
No, because this is what we do. This is shows how raw this can be. Because I can say this live now. We've not had a chat about. I don't know what you're coming out with here.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't know.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I've not given you any questions, and you've not given me any information.
No, yeah, that's true. This is a pure live.
This is raw.
Yeah, this
What you
is
see
raw
is what you get.
information. Yeah, this is all ad lib. We have not practiced anything or rehearsed anything.
Okay, so I have to bring it up. When you was going through all that, I'm going to say all that traumatic experience. What was dating like?
Well, I did have a partner.
Yeah,
He was very supportive, very supportive. Um, and my son was very supportive. I also yeah, my son right now, he is 27.
right.
And so he especially I worked through a lot of it. Just because of the fact that if I felt like if I didn't do something, that'd be kind of, I'd just sit at home and think about it.
Yeah,
So I
which
was
will make
actually
you worse.
that will make you worse. Yeah.
Yeah,
My thing is for people get yourself, if you can't work, get a hobby. Get a hobby. Even even if it, I mean, crocheting, whatever, if it's sitting outside bird watching, whatever, get a hobby. Because if you're in pain, that takes your mind off the pain because you're thinking about something else. If you're
Right.
depressed, it gets your mind off of it. It gets your mind off of your worries. Um, yeah, that was also my hobby, was working, because I love kids. I love kids and I love working with kids. So being in the school systems was great for me.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, and that's good that you had that support network around you.
Yeah.
But I bet you had some stereotypes as well and judgmental people.
Yes, especially being overweight and then struggling with pain and depression, all of that. But however, I always tried to turn a negative into a positive. So I the stereotype was more, I think, as far as weight, until people got to know me. And
Yeah.
then it was like, oh, well, she's not like this. And I broke the stereotype. I feel like I've done a good job of trying to break that stereotype.
Yeah.
In fact, my kids at school would say, I'm going to say my name, Miss Heather. Miss Heather, you need to eat. She'd be like, you need to eat. You haven't done this. You haven't done that. So they would be very protective and get after me.
Exactly. Exactly. And you're not overweight. You're not. Even though I've only seen from your head to your chest on camera.
Yeah, well, you ain't seen the
You're
rest of
not.
me, so.
Hey, it doesn't matter because at the end of the day, I always say it doesn't matter what you look like on the outside, it's what's on the inside that counts.
That is true.
And all
Because
I see from you in your lives, in your content, is you spread the love, you spread positivity, and you spread humor, and we all love it.
thank you. Thank you so much. That's what I want. That's what I want to be known for. If something happens to me tomorrow, that's what I want to be known for.
The tiny stormy hands. We've got to talk about that.
Funny thing, this does go back to Minnesota when I was at that facility.
Yeah.
Um, there is someone on Saturday Night Live that did this skit. She had tiny hands, and she was taking her tiny hands, and she was doing this. She was catching bubbles in the air with her tiny hands. And I just flipped and lost it. I was laughing so hard. So, it was the year before last. It was in 2020. I went up to the Mayo Clinic again, and I was going through this store called 99 Giggles.
Right.
And I saw these box of tiny hands sitting there. And I instantly went back to the skit, and I was like, oh my God, I gotta get those hands. And at this time, I wasn't on TikTok. I didn't even
Right.
know about TikTok. I was just oblivious to this. But I bought the tiny hands, and I thought I'll just mess around with my family and friends with them, go up and creep them out with the tiny hands.
Yeah.
And go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I'm just answering my wife's question. Why am I wearing her hat? Because me and Storm actually agreed. She was going to bring her tiny hands. I was going to bring the big hat.
That's right. So it
Yeah,
was an agreement.
it was an agreement.
Yeah.
There you go. You were
Uh,
saying.
so when I started on TikTok, I was like, "Ooh, the tiny hands." And I pulled them out, and I just started, when I went live with people, I'd be sitting in the box, and I'd be like, and then they'd notice, and they'd just start laughing or freaking out. And so I thought, well, this is a thing. So I started doing my TikToks with the tiny hands, and it just became a thing. It's called the Tiny Hand Gang.
Ah.
I noticed
I
that
do
made
have,
people laugh. So
I do have to admit, when I came across you for the very first time, you was live with Tiny Tim. And when the hands were up, I thought, they can't be her real hands. But they do look like it though.
they
Because
do,
they blend in with the outfit you wear.
and I do change outfits too with them. So yes, yep, you are correct.
Exactly. So you do have some favourite sayings when you go live, don't you? With those hands.
Maybe I do. I don't know what I'm gonna say. Like, oh yeah, is that what you're talking
There
about?
we go. Oh,
Yeah.
you should hear what my son says when he greets people. It's really funny. It really is. You know what? I'm actually gonna get him. Lucas! Lucas! Come here a minute! You're gonna absolutely love this.
Okay. Yes. Yes. Also, emotional damage. I do that a
Yes.
lot.
Yes. Go, come here, buddy. Come here. It's alright. It's alright. Come here. Right. I'm gonna say one word to you, and I want you to respond. I'm gonna go, hi.
Ah, hello.
Mwah. Love you.
What a cutie.
Exactly, and he started high school, secondary school today, anyway. So, and he's only 10.
What?
Yeah,
Oh
he
wow,
was
you got.
supposed right. He's 10 years old. He lives with autism, and he was supposed to go into his final year at primary school. But because of how smart he is, he skipped a year and he's going straight to high school.
Well, good for him, and good for the
You know.
education system for seeing that in him and pushing him forward.
It's not really education system. It's more me and his
I was
mum
gonna
having a
say,
go at the system.
actually, good for y'all too. You talk about warriors. Parents are warriors when it comes to that.
Exactly.
Mm, yep.
Yes. Yeah. So back to you. Oh my God. So where did you come? Because you seem to be doing regular lives with Tiny Tim. Like, how did you two come across each other?
Okay. All right. So I have a lot of friends in the UK. Okay.
Right.
And one of them, Matt, said, "You've got to see this guy from here." He asked me, did I know of him? And I said, well, I've heard of him, but I've never really, went in his live or anything. Getting him there to TikTok. So he shared me one of his lives, and I went in and I was like, oh my God, this guy is hilarious. That was whenever he was still doing his prank calls on
Yeah.
live. And
Yeah.
I was dying. I was addicted. I watched his lives and I was falling out with laughter. And after watching it, I was like, man, Tiny Tim has got to see the tiny hands. And so it was just kind of a mission. I kind of forgot about it for a little bit and I thought he'd never ever go live with me. That's just like a dream. But if I could ever make it happen, that would be like a notch on my a bucket list type of thing, you know. And so I don't know. I kept going into his lives and kept commenting and saying, "Hey, how you doing? I hope you're well." Stuff like that, and just legitimately. I mean, I was, just kind of became a friend in there. And then I asked him. I messaged him and I said, "Hey, would you consider going live with me?" You know. And he was like, "Yeah, that'd be good." So I I hadn't been in his live a while. And then all of a sudden, I see he popped up in my live, and I was like, I told her, I was like, hold everything, everybody. I was like, Tiny Tim's in my life. I was like, hey, Tim, he's like, we've missed you, Storm. I could hear his voice in my head. We've missed you, Storm. And so I was like, oh, cool. And so anyway, I was like, well, we need, if you want to go live, we can. But again, kind of hadn't done it in a while. And then all of a sudden I was like, I saw him and I saw where he was available. So I hit invite. Sure enough, he popped up. And I was like, oh my God, my dreams are coming true. So anyway, that's how that went down.
Yeah. Yeah,
And we've
he's
been live
acknowledged.
just about
Yeah,
every
he's
time.
acknowledged our comments. He's acknowledged our comments, but he still hasn't followed us.
Oh, he hasn't? Not yet?
No.
Okay. No, I was surprised when he followed me back, actually. I was really surprised. I can't remember how or when, but yeah. So
Yeah.
he will
Yeah.
though.
I'd love to have him on the show. I really would.
Yeah. Yeah. I hadn't had a chance to talk to him since we talked last. There's been some
I
stuff
know.
going on, but we'll
Yeah.
get him on, here. We will.
Of course, the three of us.
Yep. Yep. Yeah,
So,
he is funny.
yeah, I know you. I know you
Oh,
can have up to. I think it's like 6 people on or something.
Fiona. Fiona is his moderator too. Fiona and a girl named Sarah. So, if you message them, friend them in the live and message them too, that'll help. But
Yeah.
I'll get in contact with Fiona and Sarah as well.
Oh, of course. Cheers for that.
So
Yes. So with your story, because we've all got one, what are you gonna do next? Because obviously it's I'm just reading Jeannie's comment.
yeah, that would be fun.
It will be good. It will be fun. Right. No, I'm gonna ask that one. I'm gonna ask this one. When you were going through all, I'm gonna say it, through all the shit, um, did you have doubts, like any sort of doubts of you being like there for your kids? Um, did you feel like you thought you was useless at being a parent? And yeah,
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 I'll tell you, I worked hard at, and this is what happens. I'll probably get emotional.
it's okay. You won't be the first to cry to us.
This is what happens a lot of the time to us, especially parents. We don't put ourselves, and this sounds really selfish, and I thought it was first when I heard it. We don't put ourselves first a lot of times.
I agree.
And what I mean by that is taking care of ourselves mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. And if we don't take care of ourselves first, we cannot take care of our kids. Or if we don't, I won't say we can't take care of our kids, they see us struggle taking care of them. And you don't know that until later on. Um,
Yeah, my kids have seen me at my best, but they've also seen me not at my worst, but at nearly there. They've seen me
yeah,
nearly there. Yeah,
yeah,
I won't let them see me rock bottom. I won't let them.
yeah. Well, you try to hide it, but kids are more perceptive than you know.
They're clever, aren't they? They know.
Oh, they pick up on everything because you are their world and they are your, I mean, it goes back and forth. It's the same both ways.
Yeah.
And I remember I was doing something for my son. I was getting something ready and I was pushing myself and pushing myself and pushing myself. and I'd had one of my episodes, and one of the episodes was my right. This was after the surgery. My right eye would start closing up, and I'd start losing my speech, and my right side would start going. It almost looked like a stroke, but it wasn't. They're called hemaplegic migraines. So I'd have to be real careful about pushing myself because any stress would trigger them and things like that. So anyway, my son sat me down because I started having one, and he said, sorry.
It's okay.
He said, Mom, he said, you've done so much. He said, and I've seen you try and do everything and struggle for me. He said, and you've done. He said, but let us do for you. Oh man, this is hard. Anyway, our kids see us struggle for them, but if we don't take the time and just chill out and try not to push ourselves, we're going to lose out on a lot of time. Because he saw me, like in school, I was there constantly doing stuff because he was in my school. He was in the school that I worked at. So I was constantly doing. And he saw me struggling and pushing with that too while I was sick. Even here, I was pushing and doing and struggling with here. But it's hard because you want to keep doing that for our kids. You know, you want to be the best for your kids. But in the long run, it was really killing me. And that's what he said. He says, I don't like to see you killing yourself. And he meant literally too, you know. But anyway, sorry.
Don't apologise.
uh,
We all love you, and that's been coming in the comments every time you talk.
I love you guys too. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's yeah, and to think that you won't be there for your kids, because believe me, especially with the first one, the first tumor, that's all I could think about was not being there for my son. You know, and that's what I told him. I said, well, I have a 7-year-old. You're going to have to get this done because I'm not going to be there for him. And then, you know, when I had the second one, even, you're going to have to get this done. You're going to have to get it done. And he, bless him, he helped take care of me after. So, and you talk about how having your kids see you struggle, you know, thinking that he saw me have a stroke. You don't want to think your kid sees you have a stroke. That's the scariest thing.
Yeah, they're already vulnerable anyway.
Right. Yeah. So anyway, to sit and think what my son has seen, I don't like to think about it. But so he's a strong one too.
Yes. So, what has the past taught you coming into today?
The past, like for what I've got to deal with in the future.
Yeah. What's it taught you?
It's I'll be honest with you, I still struggle with depression.
And that's okay.
But that's something I think just about everybody struggles with. If you don't, you're probably in denial. not kidding.
Uh,
If you
uh,
say you don't struggle with depression or have some form of it, you're probably in denial about it.
yeah, if people are coming onto a live or into the world saying they have not got any sort of mental health issue, you're not
God.
human. You are not human.
If somebody says, I'm happy all the time, you are not right in the head. I'm sorry.
Watch this. I'm so glad my partner's not around for me to do this. So,
That's funny. but
there you go.
it's okay to struggle. That's the thing. It's okay to it's okay to have feelings. Just acknowledge those feelings,
Yeah.
but don't dwell on them.
No. No,
That's
there's
the
a
difference.
saying. There's a saying, it's okay not to be okay, but it's not okay to stay not okay.
That's it right there. Yeah. Yeah. And that's the thing is that like I know that I'm going to have to deal with this again. I
Mm.
know that it's going to
Yeah.
probably come back or it is back and I'm going to have to deal with it. But I know that I've done it and I can do it again.
I agree.
So, and I've got some other stuff that I'm going to have to deal with too medically. But I don't sit and I dwell on it. I can't. If I do, it's going to take me down and I'm not going to let it. I'm not going to let it.
Yeah.
Now, that's not
I
to say
agree.
that I won't have bad days, but I'm not going to have bad weeks and I'm not going to have bad months and I'm not going to have a bad year.
Well, even if you have bad days, and this ain't just to you, Storm, this is to everyone. If you have bad days, see that as a positive. Yeah, it may be shit. You may feel like you can't be bothered to do anything, go for a shower or feed yourself. Or, that's okay, but give that, give feeling shit, give yourself the opportunity to gather those tools, make those tools, and work on yourself. Because if you think about it, depression, it's got two meanings to it. Depression, really means depressed, which means self-care, self-love, which will refocus on your self-identity. And also depression, if you actually take the letters, you can transform them into a statement, and it really means I pressed on.
Yeah. Yep.
So just take that.
Yep. That's good.
And I can't believe I'm nearly on 5,000 likes.
Yeah, guys, let's hit that button.
Yes, come on, guys, let's do it.
But
And I know there's been quite a few shares on this, and I've actually shared this on Facebook as well.
yeah, I've seen some people share, which we appreciate it. The thing too is that um I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh, don't be afraid to seek help. If you have more bad days than good, don't be afraid to seek help. There is no
Exactly.
shame in that at all. Because once you start feeling like yourself, and you will feel like yourself again,
Yeah.
you'll want, if you want to feel like yourself again, you can do it. And just know that we're here to help you.
I thought you was playing with your hair with your tiny hands there.
Oh no, I took them off for a bit, even though I have done that before.
I bet your hair got tangled in the hands, didn't it?
Yeah. Um, Another thing too is that a lot of people have asked me, the doctors at Mayo Clinic have actually used the word resilient with me, that I am
Yes.
resilient.
I believe that.
And,
I can see it.
and thank you. And they've asked me, how do you keep smiling? How do you keep going? How do you keep laughing? And And I said, "Oh, I love mainly Mary Jane is one of my he is like my son. He is like a son to me. Just to let
Okay.
you know. I love you, honey." And he has seen me go through a lot.
Yeah.
Um, they're yeah, so they asked me those questions, and I also I forgot what I was saying.
You were
Um,
talking about smiling.
yes, yes. And I told him, well, I like to make people laugh and I like to make people smile because that also gives me energy back.
Yeah.
But the thing too is that I always try and take my negatives and turn them into positives. And I know what I struggled with. I struggled with all this having Cushing's, knowing all the things, because it was rare. It's a rare disease. But if I have somebody out there that is even going through the same things, even if it's individual, high blood pressure, I don't know how to deal with that. Okay, I've dealt with it. Let me help you. Headaches, weight gain, um, blood sugar problems, skin breakdown. I mean, all these other problems, osteoporosis. I also have a blood clotting disorder. So I have to deal with thinking, oh my God, am I going to, if I sat here and thought to myself, I could have a stroke any day because my blood clots. What if my medicine's not working anymore? I mean, all these things go through your head, but you can't sit and think about that. But if someone else is sitting there and thinking about that, I can help them get through that with techniques that I've learned. You know,
Yeah.
so that's what I try and do. I try and take all of my negatives and turn it into positives because you have to. Or at
Yeah.
least you
No.
try to. So try
You,
and think
you,
of if anybody is going through stuff. Right now it seems deep and dark, but try and think of how you can help the person next to you going through that deep and dark situation because you can help them go through it.
there's a couple of things there. There's
Hmm.
a couple of things. First one is I'm going to ask the question and then I'm going to jump onto this comment. The question is, what's the difference between smiling and then masking? I want a female's perspective because I understand males mask all the time, and we're scared of showing our emotions because we're supposed to be these masculine people. No, we're not. I,
And I hate
I,
that for y'all because you
so do
guys,
I.
I do. In fact, I brought this up last night in a friend's live. A friend was hurt and
Right.
he was sitting there and he was trying to take the pain and everything. And I said, you need to go to the doctor, find out. I said, you're trying to sit there and take the pain, and you guys take so much else on top of the pain and try and hide it. I said, quit. Just quit, you know. And he looked at me and he was like, you're so right. He was like, you are right. We do. And I was like, yeah, so stop. I said, just get some help, you know. Um, The smiling, yeah, it can be a mask. It can be a mask. I know people have heard the term the tears of a clown.
Yeah.
Yeah, a clown can be happy, play around all day long, but he cries because he's really sad on the inside.
You know, when you talk like that, only one thing comes to me: The Simpsons with Krusty the Clown.
Oh, see, who I think of is Robin Williams.
Oh yeah, yeah, Robbie Williams as well. Yeah, in
Yeah,
Patch Adams.
yeah.
But have you ever seen The Simpsons?
Yeah, The Simpsons, yeah.
Yeah, with Krusty the Clown, where in
Yeah,
front of a camera he's all happy, jolly, but then behind the
yeah,
camera he's like the cigarette, he's upset.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
And
They spread all these messages. Yeah,
Yeah, look, yeah, Robin Williams is who I was thinking of. See, they
Yes.
say people or others make people that make people that make others laugh are ones hurting, and that
Robin Williams, I'm being honest here, Robin Williams is one of the reasons why I got into mental health. He's one
really,
of the reasons. Yeah.
I tell you, I get emotional whenever I think about him and his situation. I
Well, I
really
actually
do.
shared, yeah, well, I shared a post about him a while back on
Yep,
TikTok.
I saw your post about him. He is a legend to me among comedians, and I'll tell you, can I say something about that type of can I say something about that type of condition when you're in that phase of feeling that bad about yourself you want to de-life or take your own life?
Yeah.
I also had a cousin here earlier this year that took his own life. That that put me into a really bad depression as well because I read his letter, I read his goodbye letter. And my thought is on that. We have a fight or flight syndrome, right?
Yeah, we do.
You fight to live. We automatically fight to live. Whether it's running away from something that scares us, fighting to live because something has hurt us, fighting to live because we found out we have cancer and want to do whatever we need to do to survive it. We fight to survive. That's in us. But when someone is so sick, it feels like there's no hope. Mentally, the capacity is not there that you want to take your own life. That fight or flight is gone.
Can I add to that?
Hmm?
Can I add to that?
Yes.
I listen to motivational speakers pretty much daily or every now and then. So I listen to like people like Tony Robbins, Les Brown, Eric Thomas, other people. And one of them, I can't remember who it was, but when I was coming away from dropping my daughter off at school, earplugs in, and I was listening to him talk. And he basically said, when you're feeling negative and you're feeling worthless and you want to end your life, just think, go into a hospital, go into a ward where people are actually fighting to stay alive, where they're on heart monitors, where these monitors are the only sort of technology that's keeping them alive. Go into a shelter or something like that where people are homeless. They've not eaten in days. They've not showered in days. And then after that, tell me now you feel shit. Because at the end
Yeah.
of the day, yeah, go on.
No, it's okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, obviously, and this ain't me bragging, but I'm on minimum wage. Like I haven't got a wage by me, but I'm on minimum income. I haven't got a lot of money behind me, but I still may see myself as a rich person. Why I see myself as a rich person is because I've got access to a technology whenever I want. I've got a roof over my head. I've got clean clothes on. I've got a warm bed at night. I've got food on my table every night. That I see myself as rich with that. But there's people who's less fortunate about that. And that's where that's it. I don't want to say it annoys me, but it does hit me when because I've been both. I've been housed and I've slept on the streets, so I've done both, and I see the difference. But when people who are housed, they've got access to all this shower and all that, and they're saying they feel shit and they don't want to live anymore because they feel like everything's going against them. See where I'm going with that?
Yeah, no, I do. But let me say this, whenever you're in if your own fight or flight is gone,
Yeah.
you don't think about going and seeing who else has got worse than you. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Honestly, that would this is my personal opinion. Did that motivational speaker go through anything like that? Because this is my personal opinion on if I went and I did that, it may make me worse.
Yeah.
That's my personal opinion. To see other people in anguish, that would make me worse because I couldn't help them, then it just make me feel more hopeless. But that I'm just being raw and honest with you.
No,
Um,
no, no. That's what all this is about. We're
yeah.
being raw, yeah.
Now, let's see. I need to get to this comment. What do you do when you're so sick and tired and
Yeah.
you don't know if you want to keep fighting or if you should? Let me say, if you don't mind me saying this.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. Reading my cousin's letter tore me up because of how he felt about himself. It broke me. Lori or Loria, if you are feeling, or if anybody out there is feeling down about themselves, anything that they've done in the past, there is nothing in this world that you have done or that you're feeling bad about that you can't get help for, that you can't pull out of, and that you can't get better. But like I was saying earlier about being depressed and you're in that hole and it's so dark and it's like dirt falling on top of you every time you look up and you try and crawl out of that hole. There are these roots on the side of that hole. Because you know, in the earth, there are these roots that stick out whenever you dig a hole. Those are your friends
Yeah.
and family and us reaching out to you to try and grab onto you.
Yeah.
Take those roots. Take those roots. Because even though it's cold and dark down there, we're there. We are there.
What I always say is when you've hit rock bottom, and I'll get to Laurie's comment in a minute. When you've hit rock bottom, it does feel negative. It looks negative. It feels like, because I've been there many times myself, but it feels like you're in this dark place and the walls are closing in on you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It does, it feels isolated.
Mm-hmm.
But think about this. So one side, walls are closing in. Other side, wall closing in. You can't go any lower because you're rock bottom. The only way is back up.
Yep.
So
That's
see
right.
rock bottom as a learning curve. See it as a positive. See it as an opportunity. Because we've all got that growth. And with Laura's comment, and this is for everyone as well, if you feel like you're a failure right now, you don't. Because at the end of the day, you're here, you're commenting. And also, and same with you, Storm, you're here, you're showing strength, and I absolutely adore you for this. But, but thing is, you're only a failure. The day you fail is the day you stop trying.
Yes, that's very true.
It is.
That's very true.
The day
Don't
you,
give up.
yeah, the day you
And
fail is the day you stop trying. Trying,
and
and
let
this
me
is why we've got a motto. We've got a motto, and that's hashtag never quit.
never quit. Yep. Yep.
And yeah, and just think, could you actually sit there, or anyone sitting or standing, whatever you're doing, could you actually do that and think, what's he talking about? I attempted suicide in March 2019. I don't look like it, but I have.
Right. People look at me and say, "There's no way."
Exactly. Exactly.
There's no
So
way.
anyway, let's read some more comments here, because they're coming in thick
A-
and fast here.
Another thing that I used to do is I used to cut myself. I don't admit that to people, but I just admitted it now. Um, and a lot of people, and I understand why people do this, and a lot of people are down on people when they do this, but I do understand, and I'm saying don't ever do it. But I understand the feelings behind it because sometimes you're so depressed and down that you can't feel anything and you just want to feel something.
Yeah.
So that's why you do it
Exactly.
because you want to feel something.
Hmm.
But that is not, and I'm not, that is not the way to do it though. I was really down. That was my rock bottom, along with what he was saying about suicide. But I had to grab onto those roots and pull myself out.
Yeah.
Have them help me pull out. Let me put it that way, because you can't do it alone. You really can't. Um, but it does, you have to acknowledge it. You do have to acknowledge, or whenever people point it out to you, don't be pig-headed, as I like to call it, or don't be too prideful and say, no, I'm not depressed. No, I'm not down. No, I don't need help. Yeah, you do. You do
Even the
need
most
help.
successful people. Just look at people like, for example, Robin Williams, Chester Bennington. They all had mental health trauma in their lives. Look what they did.
Because I'll tell you,
I
my
adore, I
cousin,
adored Linkin Park, and I still do today.
yeah, I know. My cousin did not take that help. I found out that he had help. He had people saying, "Are you okay? Are you all right? Can
Thing
we
is,
help you?" He didn't take it.
thing
That
is,
breaks me.
Chester Bennington. This was 2, maybe 3 days before he actually did what he did. He was on a radio station, which is it's broadcast everywhere, and it's live on YouTube as well. He actually was talking about his depression, and in a way, he was asking for help in those words. Nobody paid attention.
Yeah, see, that's another thing. Yeah. People will
Nobody.
oftentimes, you'll see the signs if you really go back and look for them. Because
Yeah.
no one like me, I will not ask for help. I'm the worst person for asking for
So
help.
am I. So am I.
I will sit there and I'll struggle with something until I nearly fall to the ground. And it's like, well, people around me should see that I need help and come to my aid. I'm just that type person. And even then, if you say, do you need help? I'm like, no, I got it. I'm good. You know, so, so it's like, it's, you really have to start. If you think someone is down, really look at their patterns and their behavior. I mean, just look at them and see, and don't be afraid to ask them, "Do you need help?" Or don't even ask. Just do it. That's the best thing you can do is just do it. Because
Yeah.
if you try and help me, I'm gonna say, "No, I'm good.
She's got her tiny hands.
I got it." You're good,
Yeah.
Jay. It's all right. I'm just talking about myself. That's all. Another thing. Yeah. So just if you can't reach out, those that can reach out to those that are not well, or that seem like they're struggling, reach out. Because if
Yeah.
I hadn't,
Mhm.
I have, I have remorse and regret that I didn't reach out to my cousin more, but that's on me.
Exactly.
Um,
Yeah. That's what it says.
I,
Just reach out.
yeah, another saying, a saying that I have and it's funny, it's by Dr. Seuss is, don't cry because it's over, smile because it happened.
Yeah. I agree.
And a lot of things that we just I think this world has gotten so hectic. It's gotten so hectic and crazy that we don't take time because we've gotten. I mean, I was talking to somebody about technology. I think it was yesterday. How we have gone from, in my generation, in my lifetime, we've gone from rotary phone, to now mini computers in our hands. You know, I've gone through seeing the beeper in the bag cell phone or the satellite phone to a cell. It's just stupid crazy, you know.
Yes. But
And
that's another life. That's another life of
yeah,
how technology's come.
yeah. But what I'm
Yeah.
saying is, it has sped up our lives so much because we're constantly just inundated with information, or we're constantly doing, or stuff is on us, and we don't take time to do things for ourselves too, which
I
also
agree.
causes stuff. So yeah,
So
like you said, that's a
last
whole nother life.
question. Last question, and then we'll wrap up. I'm not even going to say advice because I hate that word.
Yeah, no,
Because advice really means you're telling someone what to do, and that ain't the way forward.
no.
So, if you as yourself now, if you saw yourself growing up, what's one piece of information would you give her?
Girl, you're
Here
gonna
you
go
go.
through some crap, but just know, just keep smile, just stay strong because you're gonna do it,
Yeah,
and you're gonna have a good life while you're doing it.
I agree.
Make the best of every moment.
Yeah, I agree.
That's the thing. Everybody make the best of every moment. The good days are worth it, and you can pull yourself out of the darkness with time. That's exactly it. That's exactly it. And the thing is that when you are in that deep place, you want gratification soon. You want to be out of it soon. It took time to get in that place, and it'll take time to get out of it. And that's okay. That's okay. But
Right, we've got a couple of last questions. Is there a phone people can call to get help or to talk to? Well, with us, you can't call in, but obviously you can join the live if you want, or message us, and we can get
yeah,
you on
you
the
can
show,
message me.
or yeah, give Storm a follow. That's no problem. Or you can message us and you can have a chat with one of us. So that'll be awesome. We
Yep.
also go live on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, you name it. So yeah,
Most
so where can
definitely.
people find you, Storm, besides TikTok?
Kind of here. Um, I'm not. As of right now, you can find me here. I'm thinking about starting. God, Dark Shadows, don't start that. I will have you muted and thrown out of this.
Yes,
It's a joke with me and Dark Shadows. It's a joke.
yes, exactly. Right, right. Well, that's it, guys. We're wrapping up. Thanks for coming on, Storm. What I'm going to do is I've shared this in a few places, so I'm going to try and download this and put it on other places. So
Okay,
yeah,
awesome.
thanks to everyone tuning in, and if anyone wants to be a guest, hit us up and we'll get you on.
All right.
So yeah,
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
you're most welcome. You're most welcome. Right, that's it.
All right. Thank you, everybody. You guys take care. If anybody's struggling, please reach out to Mental Health Warriors, or if you know anybody that's struggling, reach out to them. And I hope everybody's followed this wonderful person and his organization. If you need any help, I'm also there. If you have any questions for me that you didn't want to ask in the comments, you can always message me as well.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, I know Storm's probably going to go live on her profile now, so there you go.
Yeah, I can go live to answer questions. Sure. My little hands. Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
everybody.
All
Y'all have a good
right.
day. Bye.
Bye.